From that fateful day when stinking bits of slime first crawled from the sea and shouted to the cold stars, "I am man." Our greatest dread has always been the knowledge of our mortality, but tonight we shall hurl the gauntlet of science into the frightful face of death itself. Tonight we shall ascend into the heavens, we shall mock the earthquake, we shall command the thunders, and penetrate into the very womb of impervious nature herself. In 1974, comedian Mel Brooks created his masterpiece with the help of Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle, Marty Feldman, Terry Garr, Cloris Leachman, and Madeline Kahn. Some of the funniest minds of the 20th century united to create the iconically hilarious spoof Young Frankenstein, today's topic. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Austin Johnson.
And this is your weekly Filmgazm. Happy Wednesday, listeners. This is episode 37 today, our first horror comedy spoof, and one of my favorite movies, Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
A parody of the classic Mary Shelley story, Frankenstein, the story of a man who made a monster. So excited to talk about this one. I'm a big Mel Brooks fan, and this one I think is his masterpiece.
Agreed.
Oh, an argument can be made for a lot of those movies, though.
Yeah, and there's, I think what's cool about him is, he has, groups,
Yeah.
And they all kind of, go to one film. But we love them all,
Yes, we do. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode on The Witch. Wanted to do something a lot less serious this week, as that one is a bit of a mindfuck and a soul sucker.
Yeah.
So stay tuned in just a few weeks where we'll be back in Weird Shit Wednesday mode for a franchise focus on the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, man.
We'll discuss J.K. Rowling's timeless creation that took over the world, and the 8 films that have since become as iconic as Star Wars or The Lord of the Rings, just to name a couple.
Mischief managed.
Who wouldn't enjoy that episode? Can't wait, don't miss it. Episode 40, coming soon. Before we travel to Transylvania, let's get into the Rewind, where we take a look back at past episodes and search for updates. First up, a rather uncomfortable update on episode 10, Roman Polanski. There's been a new rape allegation made against the Polish director. According to an article from The Guardian, Valentine Monnier, a photographer and former actress, claims that Polanski violently raped and assaulted her at his chalet in Gstaad in 1975 when she was 18 years old. She claims he tried to make her swallow a pill and then later made a tearful apology while demanding that she promise never to tell anybody what happened. Polanski denied the allegation and is threatening legal action against Monnier, and I'm inclined to believe her as he has a history of doing exactly this.
Yes, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, how many allegations is it now? 5?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a handful, yeah.
We've talked about this guy before many times. He comes up a lot.
Yeah, for whatever reason, is a huge figure in film.
He's a piece of shit, and his new movie, An Officer and a Spy, comes out later this year, I guess next month, and the premiere has not been canceled. It's been, slightly delayed or something. I think the red carpet was canceled due to this, but Roman Polanski seems to be the only guy in Hollywood to consistently get away with this.
Yeah.
It's weird.
For 4 decades now. Yeah.
Nobody's shut him down like they shut down Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein. Polanski's just, fuck him. I don't know.
It's insanity.
Yeah. Next, an update on episode 17, The Conjuring. I finally watched The Curse of La Llorona, the last piece of the Conjuring puzzle that I was missing.
How was that?
It was god-awful.
Yeah.
I give it a 6. It wasn't scary. It was painfully predictable. And it was a total waste of time.
Jeez.
I've seen that movie 100 times.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get it here in January with The Grudge, so.
Yeah.
You're getting that same shit.
For some reason, dude, it's ghost movies. There's a formula they tend to follow. There's the occasional great one, but most of the time they're this.
Yeah, they're shit.
And it's upsetting. I hate that this is part of The Conjuring.
Isn't that frustrating?
Yeah, I wish they hadn't bothered. Because now there's this one bit that's way worse than the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all great. The Nun was questionable. Annabelle was okay.
Yeah, but they're watchable.
They're watchable, yeah.
From what I've heard about La Llorona, it's just garbage, yeah. I'm not going to watch it. Ever. Yeah. I don't see the point.
Don't bother.
There's too many other things to watch.
Exactly. But I had it I still do Netflix through the mail, and I had it here for 3 months.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, it's been sitting right here, like right to the right of me.
I needed to get that out of here.
Yeah, it was time.
For my final update, we go back to Filmgazm number 1, The Shining.
Oh!
The long-awaited sequel, Dr. Sleep, was finally released to a rather lukewarm response, which we'll talk about at the end. I loved it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm actually seeing it tomorrow night, but we're going to have a bonus on it.
Yes.
Couple
weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks from now. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It was creepy. It felt like a natural continuation of the Kubrick film and King's book, which I thought was impossible. It bridged the gap and brought Kubrick's Shining into the Stephen King film collection.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand just the numbers. It makes no sense because this is, a King adaptation. It's involved with The Shining, arguably the greatest horror movie of all time. It's got Ewan McGregor in it. Flanagan's directing. And horror movies already, we've talked about this a lot, tend to, because they have an identity, they have a fan base, they tend to do well in the theater no matter what. But here we have a weird case where they did spend a lot of money and they did advertise and did have commercials for it, like when football games are on, and it flopped so bad opening weekend. Yeah. Oh boy. Really, really sad, and that frustrates me, to be honest.
We're going to get into this in great detail at the end in This Week in Film, but suffice it to say, like, for my opinion, I think The Shining's been on the fringe for so long, and Dr. Sleep is the movie that finally brings it into the mainstream for King fans. And I enjoyed it big time. I gave it an 8.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to go see it.
Very entertaining film.
Yeah, like you said, we'll talk about it more later.
Yeah.
Our frustrations with the box office results.
Yeah, God. So, Young Frankenstein was released in 1974 and was directed and co-written by comedy icon Mel Brooks. The brains behind The Producers, Blazing Saddles, The 12 Chairs, Silent Movie, Spaceballs, High Anxiety, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and History of the World Part 1, just to name a few. He won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay in 1969 for The Producers, and he's been nominated 2 more times. Best Original Song for the title track from Blazing Saddles, and Best Adapted Screenplay for Young Frankenstein. Oscar nominee Gene Wilder stars as Dr. Frederick Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Grandson of Dr. Victor Frankenstein. Wilder also co-wrote the film with Brooks. Wilder is one of my all-time favorite actors and is mostly known for his role as Willy Wonka in 1971's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's just legendary. If that's not part of your childhood, I'm really sorry.
In my top 10 of all time. I love that movie so much.
Good. We're going to find a way to put that up.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a standalone episode for that guy. That's a big one.
That'll be our bonus for, like, maybe Candyman.
There you go. There you go. I like that a lot. Well, don't we have a new one coming out?
Yeah.
Candyman?
Yeah, we do.
Go. All right. Expect that soon.
Fuck yeah. Wilder was nominated for his performance in The Producers, and he shared the Best Adapted Screenplay nomination for Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
Wilder appeared in a number of classic comedies in the 70s and 80s, including Blazing Saddles, Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, The Frisco Kid, and he had a brief role in Bonnie and Clyde. He was known a lot in the 70s and 80s for working with Richard Pryor.
Yes.
They were a comedy duo for a number of films. Of those, I've seen Stir Crazy and Silver Streak. I loved Stir Crazy, not that big a fan of Silver Streak.
It's all right. Yeah.
It was not as funny as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no. It didn't age as well as the other ones, yeah.
Yeah. And I love Blazing Saddles.
Oh my gosh.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's probably my second favorite of his.
Yeah.
Probably. Although I do enjoy the bonus we're going to be doing this week, so.
No spoilers.
Yeah, if you haven't figured out yet, because we haven't, neither of us have even said it yet. So that's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gene Wilder was the man. He retired, I think, late in the 80s after the death of his wife, Gilda Radner. It broke his heart. He never got over it. He died in 2016 at 83 of complications from Alzheimer's disease, and it broke my heart. I love Gene Wilder. He was a major part of my childhood, and when I found out he died, I cried.
Yeah, distraught.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. One of those guys that you just grow an attachment to. You know?
And Young Frankenstein may be his greatest performance. Willy Wonka is an amazing movie, but Wilder never got better than he did in Young Frankenstein. It's mesmerizing.
I couldn't agree more.
Peter Boyle plays the monster. Does a hilarious job basically grunting and roaring the whole time until the end. Boyle was a great character actor who appeared in a ton of stuff, namely Taxi Driver, Johnny Dangerously, Malcolm X, the Santa Claus trilogy, and he was arguably the best character on Everybody Loves Raymond. Frank Barone.
Let's go.
Holy crap. I loved him and Brad Garrett were the reasons I watched that show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful. I loved Boyle as Clyde Bruckman in the X-Files Season 3 episode, Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose.
Oh, yeah.
Where he plays a reluctant psychic who can tell when somebody's going to die.
Yes.
He won an Emmy for his guest appearance. It's one of the best episodes of the show.
Yeah, wow. Good call.
Yeah, wonderful. He's, everyone in the episode is these, goofy psychics who are, 1-800, know your future, all that shit. And he's just some guy who's like, hey, you're going to get hit by a bus tomorrow. Take care. It's awesome. I love it. He doesn't want this gift, but it's what he can do. It's such a great episode. He says Mulder's going to die of autoerotic asphyxiation one day, and he gets really offended. Yeah, I love him. Peter Boyle, he tragically died in 2006 at 71 of multiple myeloma and heart disease. And that was a bit of a shock. Marty Feldman plays Eyzaguirre, the wisecracking hunchback. Feldman's signature was his giant bulging eyes.
Yes.
Nobody looked like Marty Feldman.
Extremely distracting, yeah.
He had his own British sketch comedy show called Marty, which ran from 1968 to 1969. He had a short-lived career, appearing in comedies like Yellowbeard, Silent Movie, and The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother, alongside Gene Wilder. Feldman died suddenly in 1982 at 48 of a heart attack brought on by food poisoning.
Yep.
On the set of Yellowbeard.
Crazy.
And for those of you who don't know, Yellowbeard is one of the funniest gems of the 80s. It's Monty Python and Cheech and Chong making a pirate movie.
There you go, yeah.
It's unbelievably funny.
Say that again for the listeners.
Monty Python, Cheech and Chong, pirate movie. I mean, come on.
Come on, guys.
It's so great.
Sign up for that, yeah. Fuck Disney Plus. Sign up for that.
It's so great. We got to do it. I got to figure out a way to do a bonus on Yellowbeard someday.
Yes.
Not a lot of people know about that movie.
I'm all in.
Terry Garr plays Inga, Dr. Frankenstein's gorgeous assistant. Garr has had a long and colorful career, appearing in such classics as Tootsie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, After Hours, Mr. Mom, Dumb and Dumber, and she was the voice of Terry McGinnis's mom on Batman Beyond. Pretty sweet. Oscar winner Cloris Leachman plays the eccentric Frau Blucher. Cue horse noise.
I wish we had one of those.
I know, me
one of those
too.
audio bits.
I wish I had a button.
Yeah. Someone can send us one of those or something, or tell us how we do that. I don't know how to do that.
Leachman won Best Supporting Actress for her role in 1971's The Last Picture Show. She's been working non-stop with nearly 300 credits to her name. She had a recurring role in the Mary Tyler Moore Show and starred in the spin-off Phyllis, which ran for 2 seasons. She recently played the dementia-stricken grandma on Raising Hope, starred in 3 episodes of American Gods, and she's set to appear in the revival of Mad About You. She's a machine.
Yeah.
Cloris Leachman's been working non-stop since the 70s.
Insane filmography. Insane.
Yeah. Crazy. Oscar nominee Madeline Kahn plays Elizabeth, Frederick's ditzy fiancée. Kahn might be the funniest woman who ever lived, at least to me. I think Madeline Kahn was a national treasure. I miss her every day. She was the most hilarious woman working in Hollywood. Every role she had, I was dying.
That's awesome. I love that.
She was nominated for her roles in 1973's Paper Moon and 1974's Blazing Saddles. She also played Mrs. White in Clue and appeared in High Anxiety, Yellowbeard, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother, History of the World Part 1, and she voiced Gypsy the Moth in A Bug's Life.
There you go.
She tragically died in 1999 at 57 of ovarian cancer. And the comedy world was never the same. I loved Madeline Kahn. I still love Madeline Kahn.
Sounds like it, yeah.
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 Hilarious.
That's so cool. That's great.
So great. We're going to do an episode on her just for me one day. She's so great. Finally, Kenneth Mars plays the one-armed Inspector Kemp. Mars also worked with Brooks in The Producers, where he played Franz Liebkind, the sympathetic Nazi who writes Springtime for Hitler. He also later appeared in Yellowbeard, and he was the voice of King Triton in The Little Mermaid. He died in 2011 at 75 of pancreatic cancer. Again, with Yellowbeard.
Let's just do the Yellowbeard bonus right now.
Most of this cast is in Yellowbeard. It's fucking great.
Yeah, let's just do Yellowbeard. Let's talk about it right now.
Graham Chapman plays a murderous, rapey pirate named Yellowbeard who is imprisoned for life, but then doesn't die in prison, so they're forced to release him. And he goes to find his treasure. Peter Boyle is his first mate who does a mutiny.
Perfect.
Cheech and Chong are these Spanish pirates who are like controlling like the gold. It's been a while. It's so good. John Cleese, I think, is Blind Pew. It's so great.
All the more reason we definitely need to have a bonus for that one someday.
I love it. That rounds out the hilarious cast of Young Frankenstein. The story came about when Gene Wilder began toying around with an original story of Dr. Frankenstein's grandson inheriting his lab and research, but wanting nothing to do with the family. He discussed the idea with his agent, Mike Medavoy, who suggested Wilder make a film with Medavoy's two new clients, Peter Boyle and Marty Feldman. Medavoy also suggested contacting Mel Brooks about directing. Wilder had already been in contact with Brooks about the Frankenstein idea, but Brooks didn't seem all that interested initially. But while shooting Blazing Saddles, Wilder brought the idea up to Brooks again, and this time they began to collaborate on the script together and work out the details. Young Frankenstein was a massive hit, grossing $86 million on a $3 million budget. It has an IMDb score of 8.0 and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 93%. It was nominated for 2 Oscars, Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Sound Mixing, and in many circles it's considered one of the funniest movies of all time.
Yes.
And they're not wrong.
No, yeah, you could definitely there's an argument. This is like on the Mount Rushmore of comedy. So.
Oh, yes. It's conceived as a parody and a continuation of the 1931 horror film Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff and directed by James Whale. It's inevitable we're going to do that someday.
Of course, yeah. Which we also need to do the Tim Burton Frankenweenie, which is also based on that 1931 classic.
Frankenstein is the original monster movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's the man who made a monster.
Yes.
And it's great. Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein, I've seen those two, and they're both great.
It's kind of like one of those stories that had to be made, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a pillar of horror, yeah. a pillar of the scary scene.
Well, I think Dracula came first.
Yes.
For the Universal movies, and they wanted to do something else. They wanted Frankenstein to adapt that. They wanted Lugosi to play the monster, and he was offended because an actor of his caliber would never play a lumbering oaf like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
So James Whale was walking around the Universal commissary, and he found Boris Karloff, this tall, mesmerizing guy.
There he is.
And Frankenstein.
Bam.
It's amazing. Sometimes, fate reaches out and extends its hand.
Indeed. Indeed.
Young Frankenstein is shot in black and white to capture the feel of the classic Universal monster movies. Brooks even managed to use the same exact lab equipment props from that film. Brooks found out the prop guy from Frankenstein, Ken Strickfaden, was still alive and living in L.A. Brooks went to visit him, found that he still had all the Frankenstein props in his garage.
What?
They worked out a deal so Brooks could rent the props. Strickfaden got the credit he never got for Frankenstein.
How about that?
So the lab equipment in Young Frankenstein is the exact same lab equipment that Victor Frankenstein used in 31.
Jeez.
How cool is that?
I definitely didn't know that. Jeez Louise.
Have you seen 31's Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Do you think Young Frankenstein is a worthy successor?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think this is the true sequel to Frankenstein.
Yes, yeah. I really do, yeah. No questions about it, man.
It fits it really snugly in the continuity. It's weird.
Yeah. No, man. Yeah, this is his masterpiece, Mel Brooks.
Oh, without a doubt. So, let's go into the plot.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein.
Indeed, let's do it.
So, we meet Dr. Frederick Frankenstein. Lecturer, physician, medical school teacher, wants nothing to do with his crazy family who's known for grave robbing and trying to resurrect the dead. So naturally, he changes his name to the indecipherable Frankenstein. Hilarious.
Well, yeah, which is even more distracting
than
if it was just Frankenstein.
And he's just, this guy's in town to tell him his great-grandfather is dead, Baron Beaufort von Frankenstein. And he's the sole heir to the Frankenstein fortune. But before this, we get his Dr. Frankenstein's great lecture about the brain and the nervous system.
So good.
And this kid who's asking all these questions, but didn't your grandfather experiment with just these things, and he loses his mind.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So great. I love that opening scene. It's a lot longer than I remembered, honestly, that lecture.
You have a better chance of reanimating this scalpel
so
than you
good.
do repairing a broken nervous system. It's so great.
I love the way he's sitting with his legs crossed. Yeah, it's great.
A worm, with very few exceptions, is not a human being. This movie has some of the best lines ever.
It does. That's one of my things though with Mel Brooks is I didn't really grow up with his movies. I more found them when I got older, and so it's like I can't quote them like other people because my comedy as a kid was like the '90s, like Dumb and Dumber and Tommy Boy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it took me a little longer to get around to these, and I just wish I knew them better like I knew those other ones.
I grew up with Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, Robin Hood, and Blazing Saddles.
Okay, yeah. See,
Those are mine.
I didn't see any of those till I was probably 15, 16. Yeah, so different perspectives. That usually happens with us. So.
And there's that great scene where Frankenstein, gets heated and he accidentally stabs his leg with the scalpel. It's just, class is dismissed. So perfect. So after that, we meet Elizabeth, his socialite fiance. It's such a great scene because there's a tearful goodbye, but she doesn't want to mess up her outfit, so he can't touch her.
So they do it with the elbow, yeah. Like they're like workers at like a warehouse. Like, hey man, yeah. I love that part.
Taffeta, dear. Taffeta, honey. No, the dress is taffeta.
That's the best thing about Mel Brooks, and like we don't see it a lot in comedy anymore, is the fucking commitment to each bit.
Yes.
The commitment and how nobody ever lets up.
Every scene was meticulously crafted.
Yeah, it's a continuation of the bit before, and it keeps going, and it keeps going.
So brilliant.
It keeps going until he's like, all right, the movie's over. It's really amazing. It's a extremely impressive formula, in my opinion.
Frederick's going to go to Transylvania to sort out his great-grandfather's will, and there's that great scene where he blows a kiss to her, and she, ducks so she doesn't mess up around. It's so stupid, but it works.
It still works.
Ugh. So, he goes to Transylvania, he gets off at the train station, and he hears this weird footsteps, and that's where he meets Eyzaguirre. I love this. His intro is so great.
He's my favorite character, yeah.
Dr. Frankenstein? It's Frankenstein. You're putting me on. Yeah. No, it's pronounced Frankenstein. Do you also say Frodrick?
Yeah.
Why isn't it Frodrick Frankenstein?
Frodrick. Never mind.
You must be Igor. No, it's pronounced Eyzaguirre. They told me it was Igor. Well, they were wrong now, weren't they?
They were wrong now, weren't they? That's great.
Oh, it's so great. He spends the whole movie fucking with the doctor.
He's just a troll.
It's so perfect.
He's trolling him. Just trolling Frankenstein.
Yeah. So Igor takes his smaller bag and walks him to the carriage and tells him, walk this way. He does that weird hobble down the stairs. So great. He throws his stuff into the wagon where he meets Inga, the assistant, who is very forward.
Indeed.
And on the way there, they have possibly my favorite exchange in the entire movie, where they hear the howling, and Dr. Frankenstein says, werewolf. And Eyzaguirre goes, there, wolf. There, castle. Why are you talking like that? I thought you wanted to. No, I don't want to. Suit yourself. I'm easy. So, it's fucking brilliant.
Werewolf. There, castle.
It's become a reflex of mine. Every time I hear the word werewolf spoken, I immediately go, there, wolf.
Oh my god.
So they get to the Castle Frankenstein and they meet Frau Blucher. And I can't not do it. It's such a great gag. And she is just so strange and mysterious. She leads them up to the bedroom with an unlit candle. And that's great. And they have that great exchange where the doctor wants to go to bed and she keeps offering him drinks. Some hot tea, perhaps. No. Ovaltine? Nothing. Thank you. So I say good night. Good night! It's so aggressive.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to read out this whole damn script.
My face hurts from laughing.
It's so great. Frederick has a aggressive nightmare of his destiny. Starts chanting. Wakes up in a heat, hearing violin music coming from behind the bookcase. Behind the bookcase.
The bookcase.
Inga comes in, and together they find the secret passage to Dr. Frankenstein's lab. After a nice bit with the revolving door and a candle, which is funny. Put the candle back. I know this movie so well. None of these quotes are in front of me, by the way. I just know this. This is so great. So, they don't find the source of the music yet. What they do find is... Oh, and Eyzaguirre's there, too. It's great. They see him on a row of skulls, and then he's just there with his head tilted, and he scares them.
Yeah. Rightly so. He is scarier.
Wait, it could be dangerous. You go first. So they find Dr. Frankenstein's secret library with the notes. Literally, How I Did It by Dr. Frankenstein. And Frederick starts reading it and immediately loses his fucking mind. It's really funny how quick it is. Like, there's no hesitation. He just starts reading it, and he freaks out, and he just goes, "It could work!" Like, so passionately. It's so great.
Oh, my God.
So they decide they're going to try this. They're gonna make a man. And he and Eyzaguirre, go and steal the corpse of a recently executed criminal, and they start to work on experimenting, making the body ready for the experiment. And it's funny. Is this before or after? I think they know. The town knows he's in town.
Yeah, they already know.
So they have the town meeting.
They're totally aware.
With Inspector Kemp, and the people are freaking out. He's a Frankenstein, and they're all alike, that guy. And Inspector Kemp, who has such a thick, ridiculous accent. We must be sure the good doctor isn't following in his grandfather's footsteps. It's so his like weird robot hand. Oh, it's so great. So, back at the castle, Eyzaguirre is tasked with retrieving the brain. It's so funny. This movie's so funny. He has to go get the brain of Hans Delbruck, a noted historian, a very revered man. And Eyzaguirre drops the brain after getting startled by his own reflection.
I love that part.
And he picks up a brain labeled abnormal, do not use. So Eyzaguirre returns with it, Frederick puts it in the body. And
oh, man.
Then they're ready to reanimate the corpse. And they say that awesome... Frederick says that awesome speech I said at the beginning of the podcast. And he has, throw the switch, all that, and they, electrify the body.
Yeah.
It's classic Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't work. And Frederick is like, no, we must accept our failures with quiet dignity and grace. You son of a bitch! I'll kill you! You ruined my life! He just starts freaking out. I don't want to live!
With dignity?
Mama! Just like panicking. So great. Little do they know, they were successful. And the monster awakens when they're eating Black Forest cake, and he goes, mmm!
As one does, in Transylvania.
Yeah. Frederick thinks Eyzaguirre made the noise. He's like, oh, you like it? I didn't say anything. Yeah, you did. You made a yummy noise. And that's when they realize, it's alive! And it's awesome. So he unstraps the creature. The creature starts walking around. He's frightened by fire. And it's such a great scene. He starts strangling Frederick. And he's trying to tell Eyzaguirre and Inga what to do. And he's doing like charades. And he's trying to say sedative. But he can't get it out, and Eyzaguirre thinks he says, like, sedative, and he can't get it, and eventually Ingo figures it out, sedates the monster, and Gene Wilder says, like, just the perfect punchline. He just goes, sedative!
I want a t-shirt that says that. Really bad.
Oh my god.
That should be our Filmgazm t-shirts. Sedative!
So great.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly, something went wrong with the brain. So, Frederick asks Eyzaguirre, I told you to go get the brain. That's not Hans Delbruck's brain, is it? No. Oh, okay. Whose brain did I put into the body? Abby someone. Abby normal. Are you telling me that I put an abnormal brain in the body of a 6 foot 9 inch 55-inch wide gorilla? Starts strangling Eyzaguirre, and Eyzaguirre does the same sedative charades. Oh god, I love this movie so much.
Sedative!
Oh my god. So, Frederick goes up to the, he goes upstairs because there's a knock on the door, and it's Inspector Kemp, who wants to make sure everything's everything's cool in the Frankenstein household, because this town is not like Frankenstein's, because they always try to do this shit. They have a, they have a meeting, Kemp and Frankenstein, and it's funny because Frederick says, like, I just have to act natural, and he's like, monsters? Ha! So ridiculously unnatural. They're playing darts, and Kemp cheats and all that. It's like, Frederick basically makes him, assures him nothing funny's going on in this castle. Funny. And then Frederick discovers that Frau Blucher, setting the creature free, she's the one of the who's doing the violin music, and she was in a relationship with Dr. Frankenstein. They were lovers. And the creature freaks out from some sparks, escapes the castle, starts roaming the countryside. And first the monster runs into a young girl, which happened in Frankenstein. Of course, in that movie, he killed the girl. In this, he kind of flings her into her bedroom. It was awesome. And then he runs into a blind hermit, played by Gene Hackman.
I did not know when I first saw this that was him. I
Yeah.
had no fucking idea. So this time around, I was like, holy shit! I love that guy. That's one of my favorite people. Yeah.
He and Wilder met on Bonnie and Clyde, and I guess Gene Hackman wanted a role in the movie just to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And he plays the hermit, and it's funny, his interactions with Peter Boyle's monster are hilarious. He keeps like dropping hot soup on him. Cheers, breaks his glass, and the monster's just like, ugh. And he lights a fire, and the monster freaks out and runs away. Hackman utters the immortal line, "Wait, don't go! I was gonna make espresso!"
Oh my gosh.
I didn't think he had it in him.
No.
Oh, great. So,
Oh my gosh.
Frederick successfully captures the monster using violin music to lure him, locks him in a room, and tells Eyzaguirre and Inga, I'm going to go in there and talk to him. Whatever you hear, do not open this door. I will beg you, do not let me out. And he goes in. The monster roars at him one time, and he's like, let me out. For the love of God, let me out of here. I was kidding. Don't you know a joke when you hear one? Mommy! He starts panicking, freaking out.
Let me out.
He has no choice but to talk to the monster, and he tells the monster, you're a good person at heart. You want to be good. You're a good boy. You're a beautiful boy. And the monster breaks down, starts sobbing in his arms. It's so funny. So he's, Frederick's like, I can do this. I can make him hole.
Yeah.
And Inga's like, "Are you okay, Dr. Frankenstein?" And Frederick loudly proclaims, "My name is Frankenstein." Oh, gives me chills every time. I'm telling you, it's hilarious, but it works so well as a Frankenstein movie.
Yes. That's why it's remembered so well.
Oh, so great. So Frederick, fully confident, decides to show off the creature at a theater. Tells the science community in the town of Transylvania, "I have made a man, and this is him." And he introduces them to the creature, and dresses him in the top hat and tails, and they start putting on the Ritz. It's a great scene.
Oh yes,
classic scene.
Oh yes.
I love Peter Boyle's loud like dialogue. It's so funny. And the routine ends when a stage light explodes, freaks out the creature. Frederick tries to recapture it, capture the tone by doing some tap dancing. Tell the monster, "Are you trying to make me look like a fool?" Oh, so great. The monster is captured by the police, and Frederick goes back to the laboratory. It's kind of weird he wasn't captured by the police, too, for grave robbery. He goes back to the lab, and Frederick tells Inga, like, "If I could just figure out a way to fix his brain imbalance, he'd be right as rain. I can figure this out." And Inga's like, "If there's only some way I could make you feel less tense." And they end up sleeping together.
Yes, of course.
And of course, that's when his fiancée shows up, and Frau Blücher, I'm going to do it every time, tells Frederick, "Your fiancé's here. I suggest you put on a tie." He's completely naked because they're sleeping together. It's great. The monster escapes when Elizabeth shows up, and he takes Elizabeth captive. And this is such a fucked up scene, but it's so funny. It's essentially necrophilia and rape, but it's really funny because you're not supposed to think about that. But we think about everything. Elizabeth falls in love with the creature because he is very well endowed. It's really fucked up.
Enormous Schwanstucker!
Well, that goes without saying. Oh my god. Excuse me.
Why the fuck is this in the movie? But it works.
It does work. It shouldn't work.
I don't know why.
This should completely ruin the entire movie, but if anything, it just keeps... It's perfect. It works.
On. Commitment is there.
The townspeople go on the mob hunt to get the creature. Frederick uses the violin, lure the creature back to the castle, captures him again, and then Dr. Frankenstein puts him and the creature in this machine to stabilize the creature's brain by transferring part of his own intellect into the creature. And it's successful, and the creature can talk, and he reasons with the mob and says, "This man was the only one who believed in me, and he gave me his part of his brain, and now I can talk, and why, don't demonize him, he's a good man." It's a really good scene.
It really is. It bounces off that enormous Schwanstucker really well, and it actually gives you a nice little something there.
7 or 8 quick ones, and you're off to the races, off with the boys to brag. God damn.
Oh,
Madeline Kahn is so goddamn funny.
Yep.
So, we flash forward a bit. Frederick and Inga are now married, and Elizabeth is now married. She's married the creature.
Yes.
She has her hair styled to look like the Bride of Frankenstein, which was a cute little nod. And Frederick in bed with Inga. Inga starts humming the violin theme, and Frederick goes into a trance, starts acting like the monster, and she asks him, "I always wondered, did you get anything from him in the transference?" And Frederick looks at the camera, kind of winks almost, and you find out that he got something pretty good in the transference. It's so weird.
Incredible.
The movie ends with Inga singing that Sweet Mystery of Life song as she's embraced by the passion, and Eyzaguirre's playing a French horn outside, and that's the end of the movie. It's so great.
It's great. Great ending.
Flawless movie.
Love it.
Shouldn't work. This whole ending shouldn't work, but it does. I think just you were right because Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder were committed.
Yeah, super committed. Yeah.
So funny. Oh my god. Dude, I've laughed so hard. My whole face hurts.
Yeah, no, that was honestly an impressive performance from Connor. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. All right. Jesus Christ.
I did my best. I didn't think I'd remember it that well, honestly. I was surprised myself.
When it starts rolling, you just remember quotes and stuff. That's amazing.
I've got a quote poster on my wall of some of the most iconic quotes in the movie. It was a Christmas gift from a couple years ago.
It's fantastic.
I've always wanted a T-shirt of this movie. I wanted one that says "There Wolf," but I'll never find that. Oh, so great. So let's get into some Filmgazm facts about young Frankenstein.
Yes.
Number 1, the shifting hump on Igor's back was an ad-libbed gag. Marty Feldman had been shifting the hump back and forth for several days when cast members finally noticed, and it was added to the script. His hump keeps going from one side of the...
It's wonderful.
You know, I'm a rather brilliant surgeon. I can probably help you with that hump. What hump? So great. Number 2. In 1974, Aerosmith took a break from a long night of recording to see this film. Steven Tyler wrote the band's massive hit Walk This Way the morning after seeing the movie, inspired by Marty Feldman's scene where he tells Gene Wilder to walk this way.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Fuck yeah, man. I think that's my favorite Aerosmith song, too. Walk This Way is a goddamn masterpiece.
Favorite Aerosmith song, Sweet Emotion. Yeah.
I figured. You seem like a Sweet Emotion.
Yeah, I think it helps. It's like at the beginning of Days Confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're driving around the parking lot.
It's that sweet guitar. Oh my god. So great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They have a residency in Vegas right now. I really want to go see them.
I really like Dream On a lot as well.
Dream On's great.
It's a fun track.
I like Last Child.
That's a good track too, yeah. They're a cool band, yeah.
Yeah, Aerosmith's great. Number 3, Gene Wilder has stated that this is his favorite of all the films he's made. Good choice.
Indeed.
Number 4, Gene Hackman's line, "I was going to make espresso," was not part of the original script. The camera faded to black because of the laughter that followed. Gene Hackman was unable to repeat the line without laughing with the rest of the cast and crew, so the first take was used.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Not surprised, though. Not surprised.
It's so great. And number 5, Gene Wilder's performance as Dr. Frederick Frankenstein is ranked number 9 on Premiere Magazine's 100 Greatest Performances of All Time. He ranks ahead of Robert De Niro in Raging Bull and Daniel Day-Lewis in My Left Foot. Fuck yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That really is.
So great.
It's quite a feat.
And I give Young Frankenstein a 9, very close to a 10. It's at least like a 9.8. One more viewing, it's going to be a 10.
Yeah, it's got a solid 8 from me. Now, I do want to point something out. I do think he should have been up this year at the Oscars.
Yes.
Well, I'll read the names. You got Art Carney for Harry and Tonto. That's what won. That's who won, sorry.
I don't even know who that is or what that movie is.
Exactly. Albert Finney, Murder on the Orient Express.
Oof.
Dustin Hoffman and Lenny. Jack Nicholson in Chinatown.
Oh.
Al Pacino in Godfather Part 2.
Damn.
So I think he deserves a spot in there over Carney and Finney.
Yeah.
Leave Hoffman, Nicholson, and Pacino where they are. Yeah.
And this was a time when like straight comedies got attention.
Exactly. That's what
This got a screenplay now.
I was kind of confused by it. Now I do think I don't think his performance, in my opinion, doesn't touch that of Jack Nicholson or Al Pacino, but it's still incredible. What he's doing is incredible on here.
Yeah.
The commitment is that's acting. That is acting. Is committing to something and doing it for a long span of time. And
yes.
That's exactly what he does. And he's my favorite part of the movie for sure.
Absolutely.
Him and Eyzaguirre. I love Eyzaguirre so much. I'm excited to continue watching this. It's gonna become part of my rotation probably around the Halloween time. I just really enjoyed it. I haven't seen it, like I said, in 6 or 7 years. So awesome movie.
Oh, so much fun. This was fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Now we need to do I need to do Dumb and Dumber, and I'll quote the whole thing. It's just fun when you find because we choose all these movies, obviously. Connor and I choose every single one, and we not all of them are ones we've seen or ones we love, but occasionally we get one of those where we get to just the passion just pours out, and here we are talking about Mel Brooks. It's great.
We get a Jaws, we get a Hereditary, we get a Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, and then we get like a Midsommar, and then next week we're doing In the Tall Grass.
Yeah,
this is the way it goes, man. The movies are not all perfect. So.
Nah, that's the beauty.
Yeah,
we're all like snowflakes.
Indeed.
So let's take a look at what happened this week in film.
Yikes!
There was a lot. A controversial casting choice is sweeping the film community. An upcoming Vietnam War film, Finding Jack, will be using a fully CGI rendering of classic Hollywood actor James Dean for a starring role. They've obtained permission from Dean's family, but this raises a number of ethical questions and has angered most of the film community. What do you think about this?
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I think you leave it alone. He acted when he could, when he was alive. Yeah. He's got awesome stuff. I know it's not a lot, but leave it alone. Yeah. He's passed away. When someone dies, there's a line from a song, Father John Misty song, that says, we should just let this dead guy sleep. That's kind of how I think about celebrities a lot. Now, it's different when there's like legal stuff, but like it's James Dean. Let's leave it be. He was a legend. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Also, you're taking away an opportunity from an actual actor, a young actor who could actually make money and do the job well.
Yeah.
So, I don't like it. Don't agree with it.
It's very much a publicity stunt. And they can replicate what James Dean looks like. They cannot replicate James Dean.
Yeah.
That performance.
And I love him. Yeah. Like I love all the stuff he got to do.
His talent, regrettably, is dead. You can't create that in a computer. So it's not going to work. And where does it end? Is this
that's my thing too. Now we're opening. Oh, it's like
this opens the floodgates to redo The Godfather with Marlon Brando.
Oh God,
you can't do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that.
No, I really don't think you should. No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. But then again, when Rogue One, a Star Wars story, came out, they fully CGI'd.
They did
Peter
do that
Cushing.
with that one character. Yeah.
So and these questions weren't really raised to that level.
Yeah, but that's tough. That's tough that it wasn't really brought up or no one paid attention to it. And now here we are with James Dean, and it's like an uproar. That's a good point. I like that you pointed that out. So that you have to be fair, and nobody. I also Star Wars is not on my radar.
Yeah.
James Dean is. He's someone I look up to.
Yeah.
I would look at it as what if you did the same thing with Heath Ledger? Not cool, man.
No,
not cool. Not cool. You can't redo the Joker. Leave it as it was. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I have a hard time when someone doesn't have a say in something because they're dead.
Yeah.
I feel like you should leave it be.
I agree.
That's just to me. That's like an unwritten rule. I don't know.
Yeah. But then again, I know the movie Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow features a performance from Laurence Olivier.
Yep.
Using archived footage, he plays the bad guy.
Yeah.
But he was dead for 20, 30 years before that happened.
Yeah.
And nobody said anything. So I'm not sure. I know where I stand. I don't know where the film community stands.
Exactly. That's where it really is important. Yeah. Obviously, is it's not like we're making decisions.
No.
Yeah.
We should be.
It's tough.
We know what we're talking about. But yeah, we don't get to make decisions.
It's tough. Yeah, it's frustrating. Needless to say, I will not be seeing that movie because I don't
think they're gonna go through with it.
And I also really that's what we're gonna use him for.
I'm pretty sure James Dean was anti-war too.
Yeah, that's
pretty fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're gonna do. If we're gonna do something cool, do something cool and unique.
Make him Batman or some shit.
Yeah, exactly my point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Well, we might do a full bonus just talking about that idea because there's a lot of potential there. Talk about in
the state of
Peter Cushing and Laurence Olivier. Where do you draw the line?
Well, what we could do, because we're going to be releasing, we got, on November 15th, Ford vs. Ferrari comes out.
Yeah.
And that movie famously is not using CGI and only stunts. And they said, fuck that. We're going to use cars and people and stunt drivers. Right, so maybe we can kind of do a segue with that bonus and talk a little bit about it.
We could, yeah.
Maybe? I don't know. I think it's really interesting, and I think it's very applicable to the times.
Yeah.
And what's going on. And I would love to hear what other people think about.
I would very much.
It's something I try to bring up when I'm talking to other film fans. What do you think about rehashing, James Dean, and trying to bring him back to life for the screen? And that's just,
it's wrong.
It's just weird. It's just weird.
It's cinematic grave robbing, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and again, like I don't like taking stuff away from like someone who's working.
Yeah.
You know, a person who's alive and working and trying to put food on their table. Yeah. Give it to them. Mm-hmm. You know?
I agree. Next up, Ben Affleck is set to star in Hypnotic, a new sci-fi thriller from Robert Rodriguez. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
I thought Alita Battle Angel was okay.
Didn't see it.
I love Rodriguez's early work, but he has not had a substantial hit in a long time.
Like a decade.
Not since like Sin City.
So like a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? 2005? Sin City. Yeah.
And
Sin City's good, but it's not like a masterpiece or anything.
No?
It's just an entertaining, different kind of film. But yeah, he needs to step it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's like something to do with spies. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah. Well, they both kind of need a comeback. So we'll see.
I don't think Affleck needs a comeback. I think he's still in a good spot.
I don't know.
He hasn't had a big movie in a while, but he's still very much an A-list name.
Oh, 100%.
He's got his pick of the roles, I think.
Yeah, but look at what he's done lately, like Triple Frontier, the Batman stuff.
Gone Girl.
Yeah, see, that stretch I love. Like Argo, Gone Girl, and there's something else in there that I really liked.
I hated Live by Night.
Oh, that one
so
sucks.
bad.
That's post Gone Girl. Yeah, I can't remember what it is, because Argo's like 2012, 13.
The Town, right?
The Town, yes. Yeah. The Town's 2010, yeah. So The Town, Argo, and Gone Girl, to me, is his best stretch as an actor.
Yeah.
Because during like the 2000s, there's just some weird.
And I like his decisions. Batman. It's just the movies around him sucked. That was the problem.
And I think he's a pretty solid Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we never got to see any of it.
Yeah. Frustrating. That DC fuck up. Yeah. It's really tough.
I know.
When there's this other horse called Marvel that's just like da 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 da, just hitting on all cylinders and like getting these awesome people to play all their characters. It's just frustrating because I want both of them to be thriving, you know.
Yeah.
I want both of them to be like, you know, to do well.
Me too. Next up, Catherine Deneuve was hospitalized following a mild stroke.
I didn't know that.
She is expected to make a full recovery, so nothing happened. She's fine. But Deneuve, we've talked about her in the Polanski podcast. She started Repulsion, which we both did not enjoy.
Yeah, no.
But here's hoping she does make that recovery.
Yeah, God bless. That sucks.
And now it's time for some trailers. Trailer time. First up, The Invisible Man, starring Elizabeth Moss as an abused widow whose seemingly deceased husband is haunting her, though in reality he became invisible to shatter her sanity. Looks really creepy.
Hell yes. Can't wait.
I'm very excited about this.
Huge Moss
It's
fan.
such an interesting take on The Invisible Man.
Yes. She's a fucking brilliant actress too. I can't wait, man.
Just a sadist who became invisible to fuck with his ex-wife. God.
Can't wait.
It's produced by Blumhouse, who they know what they want.
Yes.
So, can't wait. Next up, Pixar's new movie Soul, which follows a disillusioned musician as he has an out-of-body experience. Stars Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. Looks emotionally resonant as always. Pixar knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. We're gonna be in the near future. We're gonna be talking like heavy about Pixar.
Oh yeah, we got some Pixar coming.
It's like in a few months. Yeah, we've circled it on the calendar. We're gonna try to do that sometime this spring. And boy, can't wait because they churn out stuff that you not only watch but you think about for days after.
Oh yeah,
and it's animated.
I've never stopped thinking about like Inside Out.
Inside Out that is like timeless because it's talking about your memories. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. So your emotions and memories. Yeah, love Pixar. Yeah, I'm really they make no mistakes except for Cars 2. That's about it. I'd say Cars 2 is the only one that I'm like no, that I'm out on. Everything else is fine.
Yeah. I didn't see The Good Dinosaur,
but
I heard bad things about that.
It's all right. It's not like Toy Story, but you know, it's not always gonna be Toy Story. You know, I think it's fine. It also came out like right after Inside Out, which is like
that was not smart.
Bad call because Inside Out was just this monster.
Pixar's got movie. A couple next year. They got Onward coming out.
I think Onward looks cool. Yeah.
I haven't seen. I used to be like first in line for Pixar, and I still see them.
Yeah.
I've stepped off. Like I haven't seen Brave still. I
like Brave.
I didn't see Coco.
Coco's awesome.
I heard Coco.
It's on Netflix right now still. Until I guess soon. Disney Plus is out.
Well, I'm getting that this weekend, hopefully. Yeah. That came out, by the way. Disney Plus is now available.
Yeah.
I heard there were some glitches, but...
Yeah, I'm going to wait a couple weeks, yeah.
But I've heard the content is to die for.
Yeah.
Like
my girlfriend like needs it because she adores that Marvel stuff and all that.
Oh yeah.
And like all the Simpsons episodes are gonna be on there, so.
All of them?
Yeah, well, they have Fox, man. Yeah, so
yes.
Yeah, that's on their template. Yeah.
Oh, so great.
Every episode of The Simpsons. That's like the coolest thing to me on that on that whole thing.
Oh boy,
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
it's like $6.99. It's amazing.
That's great.
It's amazing. I'm really impressed. Disney kind of proved me wrong. Well, not really. I mean, they know they could charge $2 and they're still gonna make billions off of it. So.
This is Disney.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They own everything. Yeah, it's amazing.
They're shrugging off $100 million losses like it's nothing.
Dude, yeah, it's crazy. I was listening. There's this guy, a podcast host too, The Big Picture. He went to Disneyland. Sean Fennessey's the host. Him and his younger sister, they went to Disneyland, and he was like, dude, and like how there used to be. Have you ever been there? The one in California,
no.
Los Angeles. So they used to have the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror like ride, where you like go up and down. It's Twilight Zone themed. Now it's Guardians of the Galaxy themed.
Oh, that's a shame.
And I get that because you want to like it's the kids, but I'm like, oh my god.
Did you ever watch that Disney Channel movie Tower of Terror?
Yes.
I found that on DVD at Target a couple of Halloweens ago, and I watched it, and it's so bad, but it's so fun.
Yes, yeah.
Steve Guttenberg and Kirsten Dunst. I mean, come on.
You know you're going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just think that's crazy. Like he said, this is like a 40-year-old guy who hosts this podcast, and he's just talking about how everything's like, you look around, it's like, oh my god, there's like a life-size Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Where when I was a kid, it was like Mickey Mouse is running around.
Yeah,
it's just different.
Universal Studios.
What they're throwing out in front of us to like represent Disney is just way different than what it was when we were kids.
Universal used to have a Shrek 4D spectacular thing.
Yeah.
Now it's Minions.
Yeah.
The Twister ride is gone now. The Terminator ride is gone now. All the classic stuff is being replaced.
And it's all being named by like Marvel. Yeah, it's being named after Marvel or like Frozen or whatever. Yeah, so times have changed, man.
It's a shame.
I'm glad I went to Disneyland when I was 13. I'm really glad I went when I did.
I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World.
I went to Disney World when I was 6, and then Disneyland when I was 12 or 13. I can't remember.
I've been to Universal Studios twice, and I enjoyed
that's
it.
That's a fucking blast.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, fucking blast.
Got to see the Blues Brothers play Soul Man. That was cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Went to the Beetlejuice review show.
That's great.
So much fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Finally, the last trailer that was released this week, Scoob. Yet another reboot of Scooby-Doo, though this time it is animated. Stars Will Forte as Shaggy, Zac Efron as Fred, Amanda Seyfried as Daphne, Gina Rodriguez as Velma, and Frank Welker as Scooby. Also co-stars Mark Wahlberg, Tracy Morgan, Ken Jeong, and Jason Isaacs.
I'm gonna go see it. Fuck it.
Could be cute, but I don't think we need a millennial Scooby-Doo.
Probably not, but I don't know. Those are fun. Yeah. Those are fun actors.
I know, but I don't want to see Scooby-Doo. I don't want to see, like, the Mystery Inc. gang with fucking iPhones and Facebook and all that shit. I don't want to see that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just modernized, yeah. I know, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. They want to apply it to all the kids now.
But I looked at the supporting cast, and Dick Dastardly is going to be appearing in this. Captain Caveman. This is going to be like a Boomerang All-Stars thing, like Wacky Races or some shit.
Crazy.
This could be neat.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Here's hoping, right?
Yeah. Here's hoping. There was a bomb scare on the set of Marvel's upcoming space epic Eternals. The filming location used to be a German military base during World War II, and an old unexploded bomb was discovered on set. It was removed and nobody was injured, but that could have been catastrophic.
Yeah. My goodness.
Oof.
I did not know about that.
Yeah. Big old bomb.
God.
Gotta be careful with that shit.
Yeah, it's not what's that movie John Wayne did back?
The Conqueror.
Yeah, it's not The Conqueror. It does 19 people have phones and shit, so you can't get away with shit like that anymore.
I'm pretty sure that if a Marvel movie set exploded and like Angelina Jolie was like destroyed, that would be
Marvel,
big news.
It'd be huge.
That would be
news.
pretty big.
That's my point. You can't cover that shit
up. You
up.
can't bury that shit.
Not these days. No, not even if John Wayne's involved. Yeah, not happening.
Next up, Christian Bale has announced that he is done with his signature weight fluctuation, as he is now worried about the effects it has had on his health.
Good.
In the past, Bale has become known for losing and gaining large amounts of weight really fast in order to play characters like Bruce Wayne in the Dark Knight trilogy, Trevor Resnick in The Machinist, Irving Rosenfeld in American Hustle, and most recently, Dick Cheney in Vice. And now in Ford versus Ferrari, Bale's already rail thin again. So who knows how much longer he can keep this up. He certainly doesn't. He already said, like, I don't know what it's going to do to me next time.
Yeah, because Gary Oldman like had a conversation with him about, hey man, you need to stop.
Yeah,
you need to stop. You're not 20. You're not 25 anymore. You can't just do this shit on a dime.
Gaining and losing weight that fast is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah. Oof. Crazy. I mean, yeah,
but it's done wonders for his performances.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, if you just look at his career, yeah, it's like helped him tremendously. And set him apart from everyone else in this generation. And he might be the best of his generation, you know.
But I also don't want him to keel over from a heart attack next week because of this shit, you know.
No, I want to see him act in movies, you know. We're going to see Ford vs. Ferrari, and I want to keep seeing him.
I want to see him as like a 60-year-old Bruce Wayne when they do the Batman Beyond movie in the future. I want to see that. That would be...
Please!
Yes.
Please! Oh, that'd be so
There's so many
fucking cool.
There's so many Batman actors out there. The fact... At least one of them has got a fucking Clooney. I don't care. Somebody. I want to see that.
Michael Keaton? Oh, my God.
That would be a dream come true.
Yeah, it really would.
I will even take Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Right now? Yes, me too.
It should be Kevin Conroy, though.
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, it should be Kevin Conroy.
But again, like, 20 years from now, Bale, you know. That guy. Who knows, man?
Dude, 50 years from now, Pattinson.
Jesus. Fuck it. 20 years from now, Joaquin Phoenix.
We'll be in our 70s in the nursing home watching Batman. Like, you remember how it used to be?
Yeah. Remember when Marvel and those DC movies were just...
Episode 15,582 of Filmgazm. There's not even a microphone anymore. We're
Guardians of the Galaxy 19.
We're just talking into the wall. Goddamn. Finally, Dr. Sleep is expected to bomb. So far, only grossing $34 million globally on a $45 million budget. This is particularly upsetting to me, since earlier this year, the vastly inferior Pet Sematary was a box office smash, as was It Chapter 2. So what was it about Dr. Sleep that killed it?
I don't know. And to point out another one, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark made $100 million. Like, I don't understand.
But specifically Pet Sematary and It, because they were King.
Yeah, they're Stephen King. Yeah. And we're in that King Renaissance, like, you know, they're in the...
And I think Dr. Sleep was advertised even more than those were.
Yes! I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if horror fans were just sitting on their ass. You know, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to. But I don't know if it's going to even break even.
It might not.
Because you said it's made 34?
34.
And it was, like, operating on, like, around a $50 million budget.
45, yeah.
So, Jesus, man, that's... When you do that poorly on opening weekend, that's just a horrible sign for everybody else. It's a horrible sign for people who are thinking about seeing it, you know.
I think it's just, it was Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah.
Midway came out the same day. It's a World War II movie. People are going to see that.
Yeah, Midway beat it.
It's PG-13. You can bring your kids. And
it's not 2.5 hours, yeah.
It's not 2.5 hours. And, see, hardcore horror fans like us, we know Dr. Sleep is a sequel to The Shining.
Yeah, but some people don't.
Regular people don't know that.
Yeah, the general public, has no idea. My older brother had no idea. I two older brothers, one of them, Jeremy, huge horror fan, definitely knows what Dr. Sleep is. Definitely knows that, like, he read it. But my oldest brother, Adam, not a big Stephen King guy, not a big horror guy. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. And he saw The Shining recently for the first time, and he's like, I didn't really know, like, he's like, they should be shoving that down people's throats, that it's Shining 2, essentially. This is Jack Nicholson's son. The general public should know this, and it seemed like they didn't.
Yeah.
It seemed like they just kept saying Dr. Sleep, Who's Dr. Sleep? The general people don't know this.
Admittedly, though, it's a terrible title for the book.
Yeah.
It's a very minor part of the story.
It sucks, man.
It's a bad
but it's
title.
it's a cool title, Dr. Sleep. I mean, I guess, not really. I don't know. It's not going to age well. And this movie's not going to age well if it doesn't fucking get better word of mouth. I don't know what's going on, man. It's frustrating. But the few people who I do know who have seen it have said it's good. Like, it's good. Go check it out. So I'm going to.
Any Shining fan worth his salt's going to love this.
Yeah. No, we will most certainly be doing a bonus talking about it in depth. And
weirdly, we were talking about this before we started recording. It is kind of following the same critical path as The Shining did.
Yeah, and back in 1980.
Where it wasn't a box office success, but people found it later.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It might happen the same way, yeah.
It could.
We'll see.
Oh, boy. So that is all for this week, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.
Hell yeah, had a blast.
If you did, please leave a review on iTunes or like and subscribe on YouTube. Every little bit helps. Word of mouth is the best way to get people interested. Next week, we go back to Stephen King with a recent entry in his film catalog based on a story that he wrote with his son, Joe Hill. The Netflix original In the Tall Grass, in which a group of travelers become trapped in a seemingly endless field of tall grass that something dark is lurking within. It's a film that neither of us have seen, and you'll get to hear what we think about it next week on Filmgazm.
Oh, yeah.
Till then, don't resurrect the dead, but if you do, make sure you don't use an abnormal brain.